Hey, welcome back to the Clippers from Nebraska podcast. This is the six guys talking. That's really only four guys and five if you count me. I guess six if you count Pritchett, but that's okay. So this is our top three songs. Each person had to come up with three each, and it's harder than you think. So as you're listening to this, try to think of what your top three songs would be. And moreover, enjoy.
I'm Cooper, and these are my top three songs. Here we go. The first song I chose is Blurry by Puddle of Mudd. I'd call it a job site song. The singer has so much emotion and energy. I don't really have much else to say besides listen up. Yep, that's a jam. And the beginning of that song pretty much enlightens me. But anyway, my next song is It's Been a While by Stained. It really kind of sets the mood, and it's good for car drives like back home. And once again, this singer has so much emotion. Here we go.
Just one more peaceful day. It's been a while since I could look at myself straight, and it's been a while.
I think I'm a different man after hearing that. But for my last song, which is my favorite song of all time, I'll be the first to admit, I may or may not shed a tear while listening to this masterpiece. This is Throwing It All Away by Genesis.
And see mine turning upside down.
Those are my top three songs, but there's also a couple others I'd like to just mention. Barely Breathing by Duncan Sheik. I really don't know what else to say besides just go listen to it right now. Another song I'd like to mention is Against All Odds by Phil Collins. It's similar in beauty to Throwing It All Away, but it's just another song I'd like to mention.
My two honorable mentions are If I Can Dream by Elvis Presley and In the Misty Moonlight by Dean Martin. These are two very classic songs that I have known for almost my entire life. However, I just couldn't quite put them into my top three. For my first song that I chose, and I would like to say that these three songs are in no particular order because that would just be too difficult. But for my first song, I have All Summer Long by the Beach Boys. It was released in July of 1964. It features Mike Love on the lead vocals, and then the Wilson brothers on background vocals, and Al Jardine on the bass guitar. This song basically tells the story of a guy and a girl over the summer and their experiences they shared together. I've known this song my entire life pretty much. I love the opening of the song. It has a great vibe and it's awesome. The second song I chose is In the Stone by Earth, Wind & Fire. It was released in 1979 and reached number 23 on the Billboard Hot Soul Songs chart. It also reached number 58 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1979. I actually hadn't heard this song until quite recently, within the last year, but this is definitely my favorite song of theirs and one of my favorite songs of all time. My final song I have for you today is Xanadu. It was written by ELO and featured Olivia Newton-John on lead vocals. It was written in 1980 for the film with the same title, Xanadu. It's just a classic Jeff Lynne style song, but it features Olivia Newton-John taking over the lead vocals. It reached number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1980, and if I'm being completely honest, this might be in contention for my favorite song of all time.
my first song, I chose Water by A Boogie with the Hoodie. It's technically Drowning Part 2 because his original song is called Drowning, whatever. It was released in 2022, so last year, and it was part of the Me vs. Myself album. I personally just like A Boogie with the Hoodie because his songs are super like emotional and about feelings. I mean, they're not slow by any means. They're more upbeat, just kind of songs. But this song receives a lot of hate in the album. Some people don't regard it as his best work, but I think personally it's the best song on the album. I also think it's one of his best songs probably all time.
Right my way, you won't never need no water. You think I was playing when I said I'm really ballin'? I need 2 or 3, just you and me, that might get boring. I don't with that make up stories, not Sephora. When she with me, she know she don't ever need no water.
My second song is Never Recover by Lil Baby, Gunna, and Drake. The song was released in 2018, and it personally features some of my favorite artists. And check out our last podcast. I had Lil Baby and Drake in there, and then you throw in Gunna in the mix, and I think it's a perfect song. Part of the Drip Harder album, which is technically Lil Baby's album. A little snippet of the song we played last time was actually from this album. This is the last song in it, and I think it's it's obviously in my top 3 for just the flow of the song. I think it's amazing with the artists that are put in it, and I just can't go wrong listening to it.
I bring up hits and they change up the topic. I got a 19 and it fold in my pocket. One hell of a year and the still dropping. They wanted to stop it, but they couldn't stop it. You told a story like Shorty was feeling you. She told a story like she split the bill with you. Look at my story, man, no one could write it. Now I see a million, I don't get excited. I might just buy some the thug away. Ain't no real sense in me going the other way. Can I be seen in that?
The third song I chose was The Motto by Drake, and it features Lil Wayne, which his part's okay. I mean, it's not horrible, but I personally just love Drake's part in this song. He is constantly just going at it. It's released in 2012, and it's from his album called No Equal. I think this is where Drake really separated himself from a lot of other rappers. I have him in my top 3 all time. I think he is amazing. This song actually won the Grammy Award for Best Rap Song Produced, and I think it fits it. I mean, it's a perfect song. It's upbeat. I listen to it before basketball games, before anything. I mean, it's a perfect song. It gets you kind of flowing and in the rhythm of stuff.
Now she want a photo. You already know though, you only live once, that's the motto, nigga YOLO, and we bout it every day, every day, every day. Like we sitting on the bench, but we don't really play every day, every day. What anybody say, can't see him cause the money in the way, real what's up?
For my honorable mentions, my first one I chose Kill Bill by, I'm assuming it's SZA, it's capital SZA. It's released last year in 2022, and it's technically a remake of a storyline that was in 2003. I think that's a song, I don't know exactly a whole lot about it, but I think it's a perfect song because it's kind of a soul-ish song, I guess you want to call it. It's not really upbeat, it's kind of more from the heart, and I think that's a perfect, just calm, relaxing listen to. And for my other song, I chose Cheerleader by, I'm assuming it's Omi, another one I don't know how to pronounce, but it's OMI. It was released in 2014. It's kind of an odd song if you listen to it. I mean, some people like it, some people don't, but I think it's a perfect late night. I mean, after baseball games when we're driving home and it's late and we gotta blare music to stay awake, this song always comes up. It's a perfect one to keep us up. We always sing to it. I mean, a bunch of high school teenagers, so I think it has to be in here.
For my 2 honorable mentions, I chose Come On Eileen by Dexy's Midnight Runners and Sultans of Swing by Dire Straits. These 2 songs just kind of stand out to me because I've known them for a long time. I was introduced to them at a young age, and they kind of put you in a good mood. I know Dexy's Midnight Runners is definitely a more positive song than Sultans of Swing, but yeah, these are my 2 honorable mentions. I couldn't put them in the top spot just because in my opinion, they're not worthy enough. For my top 3 songs, I chose Carry On My Wayward Son by Kansas, Layla by Derek and the Dominoes, and Too Much Heaven by the Bee Gees. These are in no particular order, but I will admit that Carry On My Wayward Son is probably the best song, just because it kind of puts you in a positive mood. It came out in 1976. Just something about the guitar and the overall lyrics of it, of how life is going to be hard, but as soon as it's done, you're going to feel peaceful and everything's going to be okay. So that's just why it has my number 1 spot.
Carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more.
The Next song I chose is Layla by Derek and the Dominoes. This song came out in 1970 and is considered one of the best guitar pieces of all time. There's something about how the guitar almost sings in the song and tells a story of love. And there's something about the guitar, man, it just puts you in a good mood. It's over 8 minutes long, but it's definitely worth the listen, and that's why it's one of my best songs of all time. And it is definitely worth a listen. For my last song, I chose Too Much Heaven by the Bee Gees. This song came out in 1979, and just something about the rhythm and the piano, just everything kind of brings it together, and the harmony is just amazing. So this is why it's on my list.
Wow. What do you think? I'm always impressed with the songs they pick. They always just blow me out of the water. I love their choices. And the cool thing is I'm getting introduced to some new types of music that I don't know much about. So I hope you enjoyed it. Let us know, and always listen to our podcast. This is Clippers from Nebraska signing off.